Welcome back, listeners, to Cosmic Confluence podcast.
Host 7. And I am so excited for today's conversation because today we are going to talk about something which we all have, but we may not be aware about it. Now, if you have ever felt uncertain about making decisions, doubted your gut feeling, or wished you could trust yourself more, this conversation is for you. And today we are talking about cultivating intuition and how developing a deeper connection with our inner wisdom can transform our lives. And joining me for this conversation is a very special guest, Tracey Napier. Now, let me share a bit about Tracey with all of you. Tracey is an intuitive life coach, author, speaker, and the host of the Tracey Napier podcast. Through her book, Get Changed: How to Become the Master of Your Own Life, and her work as a coach and speaker, she empowers people to break free from self imposed limitations and create a life filled with meaning and purpose. So, with that, Tracy, welcome to the show, and it's an absolute honor having you with us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here. I love this topic too.
Okay, lovely. So, Tracy, to begin with, if you can share a bit about your own journey with intuition. I mean, how did you learn to trust your inner voice and how has it shaped your life and work?
Sure. I, like all of us, we're all born naturally intuitive. Some of us maybe a little bit more than others. And I was growing up, and even as an adult, I was intuitive, and I very occasionally would hear people talk to me, spirits talk to me, and I would just sense or know things,
Mhm.
but I didn't give it much thought until a couple of years ago. I was laid off my job and trying to figure out what I wanted to be when I grew up.
Yeah.
And during that time, I started really delving into my spiritual practices and personal growth practices.
Mm-hmm.
And I really started becoming psychic. I can see, hear, feel, and know things that a lot of people can't. And I believe it's a direct result of the work that I've been doing, the inner work and the developing my intuition, just practicing it.
Mhm.
And so it has definitely evolved more over the past couple of years. And now I can't imagine living life without it.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, it is. It is. And that's such a powerful story, Tracy, because, uh, as you mentioned about layoffs. So, did this layoff happen during pandemic or after pandemic for you?
It was after the pandemic. This was
Mhm.
December 2022 is when I got laid off my job.
Right.
And I knew I didn't want to stay in corporate.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to figure out what to do with my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I just started to get into trying to get to know myself more. What do I really like? Who am I? And doing that inner work really helped open me up. And I started receiving guidance from spirit, my guides and angels, guiding me down a new path of writing and speaking. And I
Mm-hmm.
thought, oh my goodness. And they guided me to write the book and they gave me the title of the book. And I thought, I am unemployed, trying to figure out what I want to be when I grow up, and you want me to write a book on mastering life? Come on.
Right.
But I realized that it was a book not only for the readers, but it was for me too. And so through all of that inner work, my intuition just kept developing. And, I think a lot, I'm going to clarify really quick. A lot of people use the word intuitive rather than psychic and or use them interchangeably.
Mm-hmm.
They are really different, in my opinion. I think there's some kind of negative connotation around the word psychic, And so some people prefer to say intuitive. I am psychic and also intuitive,
Mm-hmm.
but intuition really is that inner knowing, your gut feeling when you just know something without understanding why. Whereas your psychic abilities are, clairvoyant, where you can clearly see things in your mind. Clairaudient, when you hear
Mm-hmm.
spirit talk to you. Clairsentient is when you feel things, like I get impressions of words and phrases, or I
Mm-hmm.
get goosebumps. Claircognizant is when you just know something. And then there's a couple more lesser known clear aliens, which is clear smelling, and then clear
Mm-hmm.
distance, clear tasting. And so today, when I talk about intuition, I'm going to go ahead and kind of combine them, use them interchangeably, because a lot of people will do that. And so when I talk about developing your intuition, you can use the same tools to develop your psychic abilities if you want.
Mm-hmm. I mean, thank you so much, Tracy, for highlighting this, addressing the um, difference between intuition and being a psychic. And I think this is really important to talk about, and we'll definitely come to this in the later part of the conversation. But I just want to share that I kind of can relate to your journey because I left my 10 years of corporate job. I also was affected by layoff right in the year of 2022, actually January 2023. And after that, it kind of gave me that space to do a lot of self introspection. It was kind of, that
Yeah,
that aha moment when I got to know myself. So that is
I love that.
such a powerful and very um, connecting journey. So I also think many people feel, in fact, I sometimes feel we all feel intuitive nudges, but um, maybe because of we are not aware about or the negative connotations attached, we hesitate to trust them. So
Yeah.
on this, why do you think we have been kind of conditioned to doubt ourselves?
I think it's a matter of not one, there's a lot of people that aren't even aware. Self awareness is really key. And then receptivity is another one we can talk about later. But I think we one need to learn to trust ourselves. A lot of it, I think we say we're gonna do something like, for example, I'm gonna go to the gym today, but you don't do it.
Mhm.
Those little decisions help you learn not to trust yourself. So if you make those little decisions every day, your mind is telling you that I can't trust myself. And
Mhm.
so why would you trust your intuition if you can't trust yourself? So it's a matter of shifting your actions and your thoughts even. If you say you're gonna do something, do it. That really helps you learn to trust yourself and your intuition.
Mm, I agree. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, you addressed the difference between intuition and psychic. I think another one of the biggest troubles people have is differentiating between intuition and fear. So, how do you suggest we can tell the difference between maybe an intuitive message and a reaction which is driven by anxiety or maybe past childhood trauma or maybe any kind of trauma?
hmm Well, intuitive nudges are very subtle,
Yeah.
whereas anything fear based, you're gonna know it's fear. Like it's stronger, it's a much stronger feeling or message. So it's feeling into that subtleness and gentle nudge that you receive, however you receive it. And the universe is constantly sending us answers to our questions and requests. And it's really a matter of being open to them. And that the openness and receptivity, and then your self awareness in your own body, because a lot of it is feeling. How do you feel when you
Mm.
asking something, or when you hear something, or when you say something. It's a
Mm,
lot of, I mean, it's huge. I can't stress it enough. You really need to be self-aware of how you feel, what you're thinking,
mm,
and being open to receiving the guidance. You can ask for help all day long, but if you're closed off to it and thinking it won't happen, or you won't get the answers you want or think you want, then you're not going to get them.
mm.
Uh, so, does that answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think that really makes a good sense. I really love that you mentioned that intuition is a kind of message from the universe. It comes definitely from a universal source, and then also our personal experiences, they are kind of a part of this entire cosmos. So I think good that you mentioned about that. Um, Also, Tracy, you often speak about breaking free from limitations, and I have observed or read many a times that sometimes the answers are already there within us, but we just need to listen. So,
Mm.
although we know that, but how do we exactly do it? How does intuition play a role in helping people step into their highest potential or connect with their higher selves?
So I heard this from my spirit team one night. They said when we use our intuition as our guide, we
Mhm.
tap into the infinite possibilities available to us.
Mm,
So it guides us down our life path, that
mm,
our highest and best track in our life. It helps you make better decisions. It guides you toward the right people, places, and experiences that
mhm,
help fulfill your soul's mission. And the more you use it and strengthen it, the more guidance you'll receive and the more clear it will be.
mm,
And so, yeah, again, being open and aware is going to be critical.
mhm, makes sense. So, do you have a practice or a ritual that helps people strengthen their inner trust for this?
Yeah, there's practical exercises that I do.
Okay.
When you wake up in the morning, for example, don't start immediately thinking about all the things you need to do that day or whatever it is you think about.
Mhm,
Just lay there and be open. Don't direct your thoughts in any way. And that is one of the times I receive the most intuitive guidance. And because your mind starts opening up. And that's when spirit, your highest self, whatever you want to call it, or whatever resonates with you,
mhm,
that's when they can really communicate with you more is when you're open. When you're thinking about things, it's much harder to be open and receptive to and hear the guidance. So when you're just open, resting there, you receive that guidance. And you can receive it in various ways. You can receive it via like a dream playing in your mind, or you can hear people talk to you. You can feel words or just a feeling about something. So however that is, but just laying there and not directing your thoughts as soon as you wake up is really, really helpful. And so I do that. Another thing that's really helpful, I mean, meditation, obviously, meditation is going to help people tap into their intuition. That's the most obvious thing to do, and it
mhm,
is super helpful. But another thing that was a little surprising to me, I don't know why, but I was guided to daydream. Just daydream. Don't direct your thoughts, just kind of daydream. And be aware of what you're daydreaming about, what's
mhm,
coming to mind. And those are intuitive guidance. It could be maybe a scenario playing out in your mind of how a conversation's gonna go later.
mhm,
And it's usually very, very helpful. And so just being aware of what you're thinking about. And sometimes what really opens me up too is a slow walk or I pace around my home. So I just kind of walk around slowly with my open mind. Sometimes I'll even set an intention before I pace. Like, okay, I need to figure out how I'm going to do X, Y, Z. So I set that intention and I'll just pace. And however long that is, it may be 5 minutes, it may be 20. And I usually get answers to my questions. I get some ideas. I get inspiration. And then a couple other ways that are really helpful for me, at least, is to listen to music without words. Yeah, it just, again, it kind of puts you into this meditative daydream state. And it gives you some kind of distraction. So you have the music kind of in the back of your mind, but it allows your mind to kind of open up and be receptive. And the last thing that I love, love, love is dreams. Your dreams are messages from the universe, your higher self, from whoever. And they are really important, even though they're the most cryptic things ever and they're complicated to understand. They are really important messages. And so what I do, and this may not be practical for everyone, but I live alone, so I have the luxury of being able to wake up when I dream, and I'll get my phone and I'll record it on ChatGPT. And I'll ask, what could this mean? So it says two things. One, I'm capturing it immediately in the middle of the night, and I put my phone down, I don't look at the answer, and then it helps me intuit it. And so in the morning, I can look at it if I don't really know what it means. I can look at the answer from ChatGPT and be like, well, okay, that may make sense, or nope, that was smart. There's no way that's what it means. So you can use your intuition to interpret the dream if you use ChatGPT to help, or just use your intuition and say, oh, okay, I know I had that dream. And so those are the practical exercises that I use and tools every single day.
Oh, the last one is so creative, Tracy.
Yeah. I have so many dreams. I literally have. I mean, I can have 25 or 30, like, I call them, they're dreams, and sometimes they're just short messages or visions. I have so many each night, there's no way I can remember them. So I had to come up with a way to remember them and document them.
Lovely, lovely. Thank you so much for sharing that, Tracy.
Yeah.
Um, okay, now let's take uh a little bit of contradiction or contradictory viewpoint. Let's explore this. So some skeptics believe that intuition is just subconscious pattern recognition rather than something spiritual or cosmic. So, what would you say to someone who dismisses intuition as just an illusion of the mind?
You know, this kind of goes back to if you believe it, for example, let me back up. So you've heard the saying,
Mhm.
if you think you can, you will. Um, if you think you can't, you won't. I don't know if I have this saying quite right, but whatever you believe, that's what you believe, and there's nothing wrong with it. That's just what you believe based on your experiences and the knowledge that you have at the time. And I'm not saying my knowledge is better because it's not. I could be wrong, but based on what your life experiences present you with, everyone has the right to their own belief, really. And if you don't want to believe that it's your higher self or divine guidance, then that's your right. That's up to you. I don't want to. I'm not going to change your mind at all. If you want to believe that it is higher guidance and it can be helpful, then you can learn to be open to it and develop that. But if that's not what you want to believe, then that's your right. I believe.
That's quite a straightforward and bold answer, Tracy.
Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah. I mean, we have our own beliefs, and that's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. Fair point. Fair point.
Mhm.
Great, great. And also, so if our listeners, they would like to deepen their intuitive abilities, Tracy, what are some powerful practices they can incorporate, for the starting, just to start into their daily lives?
Sure. Some very simple practices can be when you get a text message, before you look at who it's from, try to just close your eyes, take a deep breath, and try to feel into it and say, who is it? Who's texting me or who's calling me? Before you look at it, who did you get this email from? So that's a really simple practice. I also I like playing with like a regular deck of cards. You
Mhm.
can lay them all out. Sometimes I'll just lay all the cards out and I'll say, okay, I want to find the Ace of Hearts. And I kind of put my hands over them or just kind of feel into the cards and try to find the Ace of Hearts. Of course, they're face down. Yeah, or you can use the deck of cards and just say, okay, what card is this? And turn it over after guess. So you really just kind of close your eyes, take a deep breath, and feel into it and try to say, okay, what card is this top card? And then you can do it that way. And there's apps too, all your second kind of apps that you can use on your phone that are free that you can use to develop your intuition as well.
Okay, great. Well, I would encourage all of our listeners to uh, take a note of this. If you want to explore your intuitive side, just refer to the powerful practices Tracy shared. And Tracy, before we wrap up, w- any powerful piece of advice that you would like to give to someone who really wants to, who intend to trust themselves, but they feel afraid to take that leap?
Oftentimes the greatest resistance is that you feel unworthy of the guidance, believe it or not. And so, if that's the case, you can go within and just ask yourself, what's impeding this flow? And what I like to do is repeat a couple of affirmations to help you shift your mindset. One of them is I am worthy of all guidance supported by angelic presence. Another one is receiving angelic communication comes naturally to me. It's an everyday experience. And then once you feel worthy, just be open and receptive and self aware. And that will really get you going down the path of opening up.
Great. That's a beautiful way to frame it. Right, Tracy, and if our listeners they would like to connect with you, how they can do that, and also get access to your book.
Yeah, the best way to do that is going to my website. It's traceynapier.com. It's TRACEYNAPIER. And I actually have a discount code for your listeners today for one of my life coaching packages, which you can also find on my website as well as my book. And so if you want some coaching from me or just a little more information to start with, but I have different packages. So like Pick Start package is a package with 6 coaching sessions and you can receive free VIP access, which is unlimited email support from me for the duration of our sessions. And by entering code Cosmic VIP, and that code will expire March 31st. So if you want to work with me, you can schedule a call. We can talk about your goals and make sure it's the right fit. And if it is, you can go ahead and use that code and get it's a $1,200 value, and I'll give that to you for free.
Wow, that's really generous, Tracy. Great. We'll have all the details mentioned in the show notes for our listeners to refer to. And thank you so much, Tracy. This was really, really a rich and illuminating conversation. And I really love how You bridge the practical and the mystical when it comes to intuition. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
And to all of our listeners, if you're listening and this conversation resonated with you, be sure to connect with Tracy. You can refer to the show notes and get a hold of her resources, her book, and also listen to her podcast, the Tracey Napier podcast. And also subscribe to us, leave us a review, and share it with someone who's on their own journey of deepening their intuition. And thank you for tuning to Cosmic Confluence. Until next time, trust the unseen, embrace the unknown, and listen to the whispers of your soul. Thank you.